Hey guys, this is Pixel Dan coming to you from New York Toy Fair 2023, and I'm over here at the Nacelle booth with Brian Volk-Weiss. What's going on, Brian?
It's good to be here.
Yeah?
At the Nacelle booth.
This is the first time Nacelle's been at Toy Fair, right?
Well, no, we were here when we were making the toys that made us.
Gotcha.
But wait, actually, no, you're right and I'm wrong. Nacelle didn't exist yet.
Okay, there we go.
Nacelle's 5 years old.
Yeah.
And that was 6 years ago. So
Amazing.
you're right. This is, but Brian Volk-Weiss.
Yeah.
This is my second time.
Second time here,
Yeah.
but now you're here with toys.
toys.
You're doing
We
the
got
whole
toys.
Toy Fair
Yeah.
thing. I love it.
I'll tell you a fun fact, again, in the category of I probably shouldn't admit this. You know, we were supposed to be here last year.
Yeah.
And as you may have heard, it didn't happen.
Did not happen.
Yeah,
That's
rumor
right.
has it.
That's right, yeah.
Or we were lied to. And thousands of people are backing up the lie. So we were going to be here without anything. Like, we literally had cardboard cutouts of everything except the prototypes for Max and Rekka.
So maybe it worked in your favor a little bit, right?
Absolutely worked in our favor.
To give you a little bit more time to get things
so,
rolling.
and I kept those,
Yeah.
they were kind of like this guy. And I have them in my office to never forget how crazy us jumping into this world was. Because he's like, yeah, we'll just bring cardboard.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I think the last time we talked was at San Diego Comic-Con, like not this last time, but the time before.
I think you're right.
So that was still before like the Robo Force figures had even come out. You were really talking about the production and everything. And now here you are and you've got a whole new...
Oh, Max, we're making the second, he sold out.
Yes.
So we actually in November have our, what's the terminology? Like in comics, it's a reprint.
Oh yeah, so that would be kind of the same thing, right? Or second production run or something like that.
So we had to make a couple thousand more Maxes.
That's amazing.
More than a couple. And then Wrecker, I think, will be sold out somewhere between the end of December and the beginning of probably February.
Amazing.
So we're gonna have to make more of him too.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Actually,
that's our first toy.
I was gonna say we'll get in. Yeah, that's your first toy. That's where we started.
And to say we did not know what the F we were doing, I can tell you this. Those two figures to make cost more than the 3 bikes.
Really?
Which have lights and all, because we didn't know what we were doing.
So
we made all these mistakes.
I understand.
So it's that, I've heard, I didn't go to business school, but there's something they call a learning curve.
Sure.
So that's our baby. That was our first kid. Yeah.
But this isn't where you're stopping with Robo Force, right?
No, you can see Sentinel. That's wave 2.
Yep.
And then you know what? When you said to me, "What do you want to talk about?" If I answered that question, this is what I would have said: Curmudgeon. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. So Curmudgeon. And by the way, it might be weird to have the CEO pointing out what's wrong, but I can't help it, and why lie? So we just got the prototype on Tuesday, and the crew flew out here on Wednesday. So he's too dark. He's supposed to be that color, way too dark. So he's gonna be darker, and then he's smaller than I wanted him to be. So we're gonna make him a little bigger. But now that I've told you the bad, let me tell you the good. First of all, he is a character from season 1 of Robo Force, the cartoon.
Okay.
So, but he was not a part of the original Robo Force line.
Gotcha.
So Curmudgeon is our first original character. So that's the first thing. And the proto's off, like the real character has eyebrows, so we have to add the eyebrow. That change was made after we commissioned the prototype. But you'll see, he's got a claw that moves, up and down and closes, the head moves, and this prototype can't do it, but this piece moves in and out. The other thing you'll notice is, and again, I know this might be really weird, people have seen me, like I have friends of mine at like Disney and Netflix that'll like see me do something, like an interview, and they're like, you really need media training? But I don't know, I'm never gonna get it, but here's maybe what they might see me say and be like, dude, you need media training. I feel like I had a good idea on the packaging for Robo Force.
Sure.
Do you remember? Did you ever see boxed milk? Have you ever seen that brand of water? Sorry, boxed water.
Boxed water.
So I always love boxed water because if you look at the billion of like kinds of drinks, it's the only one that's black and white.
I see that.
So I thought I was a genius.
Yeah.
But apparently there's this company, I don't know, you may have heard of, have you ever heard of Funko?
I have.
So apparently
Just a little.
They're a big fan of box water too.
Okay.
So my biggest regret of all the mistakes that I made on these, I say I when it's a mistake. When I'm bragging, it's we.
Yeah.
But and by the way, all jokes aside, it was my idea to do this kind of packaging. So that's the old packaging, which I disavow, like Mission Impossible. This is the new packaging.
Adding some colors
Apparently
and everything.
Apparently people like color.
I like the color on the classic like Robo Force logo.
Exactly.
That looks good.
So Sentinel, who like I said is a part of Wave 2, Sentinel is going to have identical packaging, except it'll say
okay,
Sentinel.
the bigger one.
Yeah.
Will have the bigger. Okay.
Yeah. So she's
great.
Wave 2. There's going to be at least 100. Is going to also be Wave 2.
Okay.
And then we think we might move up to a 3 or 4 character second wave.
Okay.
But it's at least going to be 2 plus Curmudgeon.
Amazing.
So Curmudgeon's kind of like 2.5.
I love it.
Or maybe even 1.5.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Very cool. So aside from that, is the second release from you guys is the Legends of Laughter, right?
No, the second is Garloo.
Oh, that's right, Garloo.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about little Garloo down
so
here.
Garloo was number 2.
Yeah.
And again, did great. My guess is he'll be sold out definitely before April, but maybe even before Christmas. We haven't had a full Christmas holiday season without other than Max and Wrecker.
Sure.
So if what happened with Max and Wrecker for the holidays happens with all of this, then he actually could be sold out before January.
Very cool.
And then our third line is Legends of Laughter. That just came out, I think, barely a month ago.
Just started shipping,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's a really interesting concept for a line of action figures, right?
Oh, do you
action
know my background?
Honestly, I don't. That's what I was going to ask, like what the kind of inspiration was for wanting to do something like this.
So this is what I love about like my career is like it's so randomly bizarre.
Yeah.
So the entire foundation of Nacelle is built on stand-up comedy.
Okay.
We own Comedy Dynamics.
Gotcha.
So we're the big, to this day, we did like 32 specials. We have 2 more before the end of the year. So if you're ever wondering why I travel so much, that's frequently why.
That's why.
So we also have a record label. So our record label is in business with all of those estates. So people always say to me, how'd you pick those 3? My answer is, we're already in business.
We were already there.
So we just had to call the people that run the, Kitty Bruce, Lenny's daughter. Hey, Kitty, what do you think? Steve Hicks. Hey, what do you think? So that's why we did it. That's why we started with them. And God willing, we'll make more.
Awesome.
Yeah, these keep moving.
Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. So we definitely got to talk about Sectaurs because I feel like this is one that I've been very excited about.
Those leave China in about 2 weeks.
So are these like production figures over here? Or are they like close to? They look, like the blister card packaging is beautiful.
Yeah.
The paint deco specifically on Stellara with like these metallic colors.
Glad you brought that up, Dan.
Okay, good.
For anybody who's mad that they're late, blame her armor.
Blame her armor.
Or blame me for being and I do not consider myself to be a perfectionist, but her armor, she's never been released before.
Exactly, yes.
So
that's why I'm so excited for her.
I wanted to do her right, first of all. Second of all, she's outselling Dargon. So I knew if the thing's selling really well, didn't come out perfect, that would really, and not that he's not perfect, but my point is, I'm like digging a hole for myself. Maybe I do need media training. But that's for you, Ryan. Her armor, we lost about 6 weeks. Basically, the back and forth with us in the factory is usually between 2 and 4 back and forths. She was at least 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Can I hold her? Can we look at the back and everything?
Of course.
So what I love about these is like they still feel very in scale and styling with the original toy line. But the original toy line, I always felt like it had a lot going for it that a lot of vintage lines didn't. Like they always felt like the sculpting was really good on them.
No, they were ahead of their time, just like Power Lords.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I love that. Like I think you mentioned she's outselling. Everybody wants her just to fit in with your vintage Sectaurs, right? But one of the things I love about modern toys is that we've got so many fans of these properties making the toys now.
It's the best.
So we're getting all this stuff that we never had before.
Look at
all
the
this
Prisoner.
stuff that we wanted. I know.
And that's Gavin Heinite.
It's amazing.
That we distribute for him. Like, I cannot believe those exist.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. This is great. These look incredible. Very excited for Sectaurs. I think we probably talked about this before too, but like our bug mounts and everything, something you're thinking of still?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
It's a big part of the line, right? Like
I would
insects,
be extremely surprised if we don't make those.
Okay,
like,
that's amazing.
Shocked. I don't want to. I'm trying. As you know, you got saved stuff for certain other events.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to say
understand.
anything, but let me just say I like them too.
Okay.
Yeah. How about
that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So tell me a little bit about the Expanse, because I actually don't know a whole lot about this.
Here's what you gotta know.
Okay.
Other than Star Trek, which I put in its own category.
Yeah.
So let's not even include Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's the best TV show of all time.
Yeah. Okay.
It is. You've never seen it?
I actually have not. No.
Oh.
No.
It is. Do you know what it's about?
I don't.
So it takes place 500 years in the future, and we have a colony on Mars, and there is basically a colony in the asteroid belt, and
Okay.
all of Mars and Earth's fuel comes from the asteroid belt. So at the beginning of the first episode, we are headed towards a three-way civil war between all three sides. Then something else happens. That's a spoiler alert, so I won't say what it is.
Spoiler alert. Okay.
And then it's 6 seasons of the best writing, the best acting. Ava Salvara, she is my favorite character in the history of television. Better than anything on Game of Thrones.
Really?
Like Walking Dead.
Apparently, I've been totally sleeping on this because I didn't know, but I knew that you guys were doing the toys. So that's great.
Sorry. Back to the toys.
No, yeah. That's fine.
So it's going to be our biggest line launch ever. It's going to be at least 8 characters.
Oh wow.
The amount of accessories that come with each. I mean, the joke we have is I hope we make money because we are going. By the way, the best way I can explain this to you, but also my own personal journey in the toy business.
Yeah.
So I moved about a year ago. So, I have now over a 4,000 piece toy collection.
Yeah.
So, I'm putting each piece one at a time. Oh, I'm not even done.
Yeah.
Like, it's been over a year and I'm probably
yeah.
only at 98%. But I'm putting the NECA Battlestar Galactica this is about 3 months ago. So I'm on the Battlestar area.
Yeah.
So I'm putting NECA's gorgeous Battlestar Galactica figures up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a Sunday morning. Maybe I didn't sleep as well as I needed to, in my defense, for what I'm about to tell you. So I'm putting them up, and it just hits me like, God, I wish somebody did this for the Expanse. And for about 10 seconds, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I am.
I'm doing those.
Shit. Like, that's how surreal this is.
Oh, that's great.
And in my
That's
defense,
cool.
we didn't have the prototypes yet, so it felt less real.
Yeah, it didn't feel as real yet.
Because, you sign contracts, you
Sure.
wire money to designers.
Sure.
It doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
But then, when these start showing up, so we're launching, so again, this is the worst spoiler ever, to the point where maybe you don't even need to watch the show.
He's ruining the show now.
But they are mortal enemies until the last 2 episodes. And they shake hands.
Yeah.
And she represents the asteroid belt. She represents Earth and kind of Mars against the thing I didn't tell you about.
Gotcha. Okay.
They shake hands, and that ends the whole war. So we're launching with a 2-pack. Because we're working with Alcon, we get the actual set designs, we get the actual everything.
Cool.
So it's the 2 of them, the packaging is the set from that moment where they shake hands. You can see it here in the background of the picture. And it's this and my inspiration was, do you remember when Phantom Menace came out?
Yes.
It launched with a Mace Windu, and it launched with a STAP with a battle droid.
That's right, I do remember that.
So we're copying that business model. No. I mean, we were inspired by. I don't want to get sued by Disney and Lucasfilm and everyone else. Though if I had to guess, they didn't invent that either. I don't want to get sued by Marty Abrams. But it's the 2 of them shaking hands from that scene. That's going to launch the whole line. And then we're putting out pretty much every major character.
That's great.
Simultaneously.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Awesome. And then I guess the other big one we got to talk about too is Biker Mice from Mars, which
Yes.
has been another really exciting like retro line that you guys are bringing back. And we saw a little bit of them at San Diego Comic-Con. I think the bikes were there for the first time, but
Yes,
they're even
but
further along now,
These
right?
are much further along.
Yeah.
Those didn't have the electronics.
Yeah.
And as I think I was telling you, I'm still not happy with those electronics. We got to make the light better, the headlights better.
Yeah.
But no, in fact, actually, the Biker Mice themselves are a further generation from what we had in San Diego. Yeah, we didn't have the ab movement in San Diego yet.
Right.
Because they were back at the factory, so they could get made. But yeah, those are the bike. It's our first vehicles. I'm a vehicle guy.
Yeah, for sure.
I love G.I. Joe. I'm the biggest G.I. Joe guy ever. But if you analyze my collection, you'd be like, this guy likes the vehicles.
The vehicles, sure.
I probably have the only G.I. Joe collection on Earth with more vehicles than figures.
Right, right. And obviously the name's Biker Mice, right? So you can't have the mice without their bikes.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And I remember, like, so they do come with, like, an alternate helmeted head?
3.
Is that what you're doing?
Each one has 3 heads.
3 heads.
No helmet with the glass, helmet without the glass.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
it's, well, to be completely honest, I thought they would sell well. Was I telling you the story about when I flew here? It's so funny when you back to back, you forget who to say what to.
Sure.
Did I tell you when I took off yesterday? Did I tell you this? So I had a 6 a.m. flight yesterday. You know, we just put the bikes on sale Friday night.
Right.
Or Friday morning.
Right, Friday, okay.
So I'm on the plane yesterday at LAX, starting to head to the flight line, and I look at I'm like, it's LAX, probably gonna be 5 hours before we fucking take off. So, oh my God, let me see how we did overnight. The number I saw at like 6:02 a.m. on Saturday. So it's now it's been about 20 hours that we've been on sale, maybe even 19 hours. That number I would have been thrilled with at the end of week 2. Maybe month 1.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's great.
So because of that's the long way of telling you, we're gonna go all out with the bikes.
That's amazing.
We're gonna go all out.
Well, it's always good to hear when a property like that's kind of, it's a little obscure on the obscure. Like people remember it, but obviously it's not as big as others. So I always love hearing that there's an audience for that stuff,
and
right?
From my point of view, and either this is the way the world works or it's my ignorance, I don't know yet, because we have only been doing this for 2 years. You never know how anything's going to do.
Right.
Ever.
Sure.
So there are certain things here that didn't start off as strong as I had hoped, but consistently sell every week.
Right.
So they're going to end up being a triple, maybe a home run, but they'll be at least a triple.
Yeah.
But when they started, I was worried they wouldn't even be a single.
Oh, that's
But then there are like Biker Mice where they do in a weekend what I had expected in 6 months.
Yeah.
So from my point of view, I don't know.
Very cool. That's awesome, though. I love it. And you touched on it a little bit with Robo Force, but animation is also something you guys are doing.
I'm so bad at this, so thank you for giving me, you're like my teleprompter.
I've done this a few times.
Yeah, you're my teleprompter, thank God. So, we're doing this joint universe where all of our characters are merged.
The Nacelle verse, right?
Yes, exactly. So, I guess we didn't print her. I'm mad at myself for that, but I thought we did. She's in the video.
Okay.
But so Robo Force is in production right now.
Right.
And by the end of January at the latest, we will have season 1 completely done.
Awesome.
Biker Mice from Mars, the writers just started writing 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So Biker Mice from Mars is going to come out in 2025.
Okay.
And that'll be 8 episodes. Robo Force comes out next year. That'll be 6 episodes.
Okay.
But in Robo Force, so Biker Mice are in Robo Force.
Really?
Yes. And not only that, the thing I wanted to show you, but she is not here. I only saw this 10,000 times before we printed it, so you would think I would know what should be here. But there is a character in Robo Force. So the evil company in Robo Force is called Utopia Aegis. They're like the evil bad, like Google meets Lockheed Martin, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And the number 2 person at the company is a Sectorian. Her name is Deneen. She's the one who, I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say 100 is doing some bad stuff off hours.
Yeah.
On behalf of Utopia Aegis, she's the one giving him his targets. So right from the beginning, you're hearing and seeing the characters from down the line. And the moment that if we do our job right as storytellers, that should have people's eyes get a little moist at the end of episode 6, Biker Mice from Mars have a huge cameo for that moment.
Nice.
So, and they're all in it. Garloo, he's in all over the place. Luckily, we got Moo Mesa done before we ended production. So there's 2 Moo Mesa Easter eggs in the show. So they're all, everything's intermeshed.
Dang.
So we'll see if it works.
What an amazing crossover I never thought we would see. That is so cool.
For better or worse, time will tell.
Right, time will tell.
But I think it's working. Yeah.
I think it's fun. I mean, what you guys are doing is really fun. So I love it. I love it. I'm excited.
It's a lot of fun to do, too.
Awesome. Well, Brian, thank you so much for taking the time
to you for all
tell
the
us
support
about
over the years.
Oh, of course, man. Of course.
You've been great to us, so thank you.
Oh, no, I love it. I always, like I said, I just love to see fun stuff like this, especially the nostalgic stuff. I mean, that's what got us all into this to begin with, right? So
that's
I love it.
Understatement of the millennium.
There you go. Awesome. Well, there you go. A little bit from Nacelle at their booth, their first booth at New York Toy Fair 2023.
And they even, in case anyone forgets, they remind you.
1 year exhibitor. Amazing.
Yeah. They gave up on the first. It actually said FRD for some of my colleagues who got here before me.
Yours just has a 1.
So now it just says 1.
1 year.
Yeah. They're not letting me back next year. That's what it means. Only 1.
Only 1 year.
Yeah.
He's a 1 year exhibitor. Oh boy.
Oh, Toy Fair. See.
Stay up to date with Pixel Dan at Toy Fair 2023. Follow Pixel Dan on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Or you can support the channel through Patreon and unlock other exclusive content. Thanks for tuning in to your premier source for all things toys with Pixel Dan. See you again.